Hey everybody, Jim here. Today we're going to talk about the Adarac lumber and ladder rack that I'm going to install on my Ram 2500 pickup. The Adarac is going to come shipped to you in a cardboard box via UPS. It's going to be long. We'll come up and take a look. 80 inches long, and it's pretty heavy. I'm going to pick it up and look at the camera. It's 43 pounds, 43 pounds. When you unpack your kit, you're going to find you have a left and a right side rail that goes on the top of your bed, a forward and an aft cross rail that goes across the 4 uprights that will be at each corner of your bed. You also are going to get a pack of hardware in your plastic bag over here. Okay, the first thing they want you to do is to remove this little black plastic insert that covers up the steel pocket. And we're going to remove that so that we can clamp the washers up against the inside of that steel pocket. So we've got to remove that first. And I'm going to do that now using my utility knife. Okay, I used a screwdriver to pry it a little bit and peel it up. And now we can see the steel of the bed right there. Okay, we're going to cut out the front pocket hole now. It's a kind of a soft plastic and it's pretty easy to cut out. It looks like I'm going to have to flip up the back section of my tonneau cover here to get to the inner part of that so I can complete my cut. So I'll do that next. Alright, well I've slid my tonneau cover back now a little bit so I can get into finish cutting the stake pocket hole relief. We'll cut that out. And then I'll repeat the operation on the second side. This is the driver's, or the right side, and we'll go over and get the left side next. There we go. Kind of ugly, but it's going to be covered up by the uprights when we get done. Okay, next we're going to put the channel nuts into the slots on the right and left side channels. And you can see there's a threaded hole that protrudes through the back side. You want that facing the outside of the channel. So we're going to slide in 4 of these channel nuts. They fit right in the slot, as you can see. Oops, I got that one in backwards. So you can't even put them in backwards if you wanted to, because they'll get stopped by the shape of the extrusion. There's 3, and here's 4. So I've got the 4 channel nuts in there now. Once we've got the 4 channel nuts in, we're going to add the rail end cap. It's going to slide right in. Your end stop, where the screw goes through, is not threaded. You've got to get that screw started while it's out, and then when you slide it into the rail, it'll take hold and it'll hold it in place. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is use these shoestring things they gave us. we're going to thread those through the bottom side, which is the side that has the protruding threads of our clamp plate. I added 2 washers for my truck, because every truck's a little bit different. And I'm going to drop this down inside the stake hole. I'm not going to let loose of my string. I'm going to hang on to the end of it so that it doesn't just fall down there. And this is made so that the clamp with the slot goes in your front stake pocket on my truck, and then the other clamp with no slot goes in the rear pocket. So let's go out to the truck and we'll drop these in, and then we'll be able to mount the rail to the side of the truck. Okay, well, we've got the rail now resting on the side of the truck, and I've got my clamping plates and washers hooked together. I'm going to drop this down inside my pocket. And then I'm going to bring the shoestring part up through the slot in the rail. And this, we're going to clamp the rail down, because that clamping piece will slide against the inside of the truck pocket there. And we'll just hand tighten that for now, and then I'll go up and do the same thing in the front, and we'll get the rail clamped to the side. Okay, we're up at the front stake pocket now, and you can see how the little washers fit up through there. It looks like maybe this one only needs to have one washer to get it clamped down. So I'm going to take the top washer off. These strings are kind of important. They're gonna stay with us for the life of this device here, because when I want to take this thing off, I want a way to retrieve my washers. Okay, so now I'm going to thread the string back up through like I did for the other one, and I'm going to get this up and in place, and it wants to fit underneath my gasket there for my tonneau cover. So I got my bolt back, and I'm just hand tightening again, but I'm keeping tension on the strings so that the clamp and the washer stay located properly inside the stake pocket. There we go, and we're in place. I want to keep my rail pretty clear of my tonneau cover gasket if I can, and that'll help me weather seal the tonneau a little bit better. So I'll make a little bit adjustment here to the rail and the tonneau to get all of that squared away. Okay, well, I've got the rail mounted on both the right and the left side now, and you can see, and I'm going to close the tonneau now to make sure that I clear the weather stripping on the side. The weather stripping looks pretty good. It looks like it is resting right on top of the side rail there, and I think that is going to be fine. That's going to keep the water out of my bed. The edge, the back end of the rail, the side rail, can't go past the end of the bed. So I've got it right here, close to the end of my tonneau cover, and then up at the front, I've got it right up close to the front of the bed. So it's resting on this plastic piece here, and it'll be clamped down in by those bolts. I've got my rail where I want it. I've tightened down this flange bolt. You're supposed to get it tight until the serrations underneath that bolt head are pretty tight. It's probably, I'm going to guess, around 25-30 foot-pounds. So I'm going to crank it down a little bit. That's feeling pretty good. And I can't move this rail now. The next thing I'm going to do is untie my knot. Now I'm not going to pull the string out, but what I am going to do is I'm going to tie a knot in each end of the string, and I'll put a figure 8 knot in there because it's a little bit bigger, as you can see. And I'll put another figure 8 knot in the other side. Figure 8 just looks like a figure 8. You make a figure 8 out of it, pull it back up tight, and there you go. But I can push this back down into the hole. Then if I ever want to take this out, I'm not going to lose my washer and my clamp. Next, we're going to prep the 4 uprights. These are your uprights. You have 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they hold the top crossbars. We're going to place our crossbar clamp on, thread in one of these 3/4 by 3/8 nuts or bolts. Just leave the threads loose in here. There. Once we've got that done. All right, next we're going to measure from one side of our truck bed to the other, and I want to measure my distance rail to rail at the same point, and I am 67 5/8. We are 70 5/8. So we got quite a difference between the front and the back. So I slid the uprights into the top rail, and what I'm going to do is measure the distance from one top rail to the other and set that up at 67 5/8. And then I'm going to go underneath my upright, and I'm going to tighten up those bolts, and I'm going to make sure I got an equal amount of space here on either side. Alright, let's get the tape measure out. I'm going to make sure I get the feet of my rails. I want it to be all the way out to 67 5/8. So I'm going to move this one out, and that's about 65. And I see just have a couple of inches there at the top. I'll be at 67 5/8. Right there is 68. I'm going to slide this one in just like that. I'm now at 67 5/8. Adjust this to 3.5 now. Right there on that end. Let's check the other side. Oh, I'm a little bit further out here, so got to bring that back out. And now I'm pretty close to 3.5. So we'll tighten it up and see how it looks. Once you get your top bar approximately the correct dimensions, I would recommend leaving your topmost nuts up here a little bit loose, and that way you can make fine adjustments. You put your bottom bolts through those locking nuts that slide in, that you slid into your side rails, and you tighten those down on either side. After you get everything where you want, you've got about an even amount of top rail exposed on either side of your uprights. Now, I bought a set of load separators, and what you want to do, if you've got those, you need to get them assembled. Slide them onto your rack, and once you've got them assembled, you slide them onto your rack. Then you can slide your cross braces into the slot in the rack. So I'm going to do that next for my front rack. Okay, I found that once you've got your crossbars approximately where you want, leave these nuts finger tight and go ahead and mount it on your side rails. Bolt the bottom nuts in where you want them, very tight. Then come back and tighten your top rails. I mounted my top rails pretty far forward, pretty close to the nut that is in the bed stake, and that allows my tonneau to go completely to the full open position, and it doesn't contact the uprights or the top rail. Okay, the last thing we want to do, these are our end caps. We're going to thread the bolt up through the clamping nut, and we're going to slide that on to the end cap like this. End cap is on there, and then we'll tighten up the bolt. This roof rack is real nice. It has a rubber bumper here that goes over the top of each rack. I bought the extra load dividers here, which you can see. They have a loop and a bolt if you want a bolt hole if you want to really tie something down good. And as you can see over here, they have a rubber cap that just slides on over the top of that and grips real good. And that way, if you're carrying something delicate like some finish lumber or something that has a good finish on it, you need to protect it, you get a nice rubber cap there. So that's the Adarac Pro Series aluminum truck rack. It comes in silver or black, holds 500 pounds. It's easy to install, no special tools, no drilling required. Costs $580, direct ship to you from AgriCover in Jamestown, North Dakota. I like this because I no longer have to open up my back window and jam some 2x6s in there and rest them on the dashboard, the back seat, and the tailgate. I can put them right on the top. Seems like a safer way to go for me. It's a well-designed, durable piece of equipment that's easy on and easy off, and it will really enhance your truck.